right?
That's what I have. My
That's
mat.
how we
That's it.
always do it. We
Hi,
always do
welcome
that.
everybody. Hello. We're live. Welcome to the Comfy Nest with Grace. This is Guest in the Nest here at the Comfy Nest with Grace, and my guest today is Kristie Sloan from My Artful Adventures. So we're going to have some playtime on our craft tables. We were just talking about how our craft tables are literally just our mat. I think we have the same mat, Kristie, you and me, and that's about the amount of space I have to work with. Everything else is just piled of stuff. So I think we're not alone in that regard, but we're in good company. There you go. We're in good company. So Kristie and I, we've known each other for a few years. It's so funny because we know each other. We've never met in person, but we know each other so well. I spend more time with you, Kristie, than I probably do my own siblings because I don't see or talk to them very often. Isn't that crazy? So we know each other pretty well, but yet we haven't met in person. This is the world of virtual creative communities. And God bless us for having them. I'm so happy we have them and that we get to meet all these fabulous people. So Kristie is a paper crafter like I am, but we're going to ask her a bunch of questions today to get to know her better, get to know where you guys can find her if you want to hang out with her on a regular basis, because she is available in several different places where you can find her going live and sharing her creative talents and her creative ideas with us all. And I welcome you if you're here. Hey, Capri, how are you, Christina? Hi, thanks for being here. Oh, I love that you guys are here. Thank you for saying hello. Those comments mean the world to us when we're live because it just makes it so much more fun to interact with you guys than to feel like we're just here on our own talking to a blank screen. So thank you. Capri says, I never would have imagined the friends I have made virtually. Exactly. It's such a beautiful, rich community, the creative community on all of the social medias. We're on Facebook and I am streaming on YouTube as well, which I know I have a presence on both, and so does Kristie. So if you want to look up Kristie, it's My Artful Adventures. You can find her on both places. So yes, isn't it a beautiful thing, Capri, that we can connect with each other and make friends this way? Hey, Missy. Hello. Thanks for being here. So I've got to get my table ready. I am going to do something. I'm going to be working on embossing some things. The ladies asked me today to do some embossing cardstock. So that's what I'm going to work on. Simple thing to work on while we are chit-chatting. And I'm going to turn it over to Kristie and let her just take a minute to introduce herself, where we can find you, how you got to where you are now, just whatever you want everybody to know, Kristie. Welcome to the company.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me, Grace. This is fun. I have, I had done a lot of podcasts on my old website, and I had transferred some over. I haven't done any in a long time, and they first were for a lot of people that I had met in various online places who were artsy people. And I mean, they had other jobs that they were not just, full-time artists. And that was how that kind of developed. Yep. And then when I got into other things, it kind of took a different spin. And it was more people who had started their own businesses, like you and I. And so, it kind of took a different spin. But man, I tell you, those podcasts all the time, that's a lot of work, right. To just do. So those kind of have fallen to the way back of what I have done in a long time. But yes, I so agree. And the first time that I was ever in anything that was online to kind of develop some online friendships in a common theme was a scrapbooking group. And there was a lady who had started a scrapbooking group. And and she had something she called Layout a Day. And so the premise was you made one scrapbook layout each day for a month. And she had 2 of those a year that you could join. And the third one was just for members of the group. So sometimes we would do that. Now, I did not, and the people would go, I could never do that. But the thing was, even if you made a few layouts during that whole 30 days, just think it probably was more than you would have done just on your own.
Exactly.
And so it really, it really made a difference. And you always had to think about it like that. But people just, became such good friends in that. And so the first time that one of those ended, and then since then it has really taken a different turn. Somebody else now owns that and does that. And, it was just so fun because at the end of the first one, people were in the chat going, well, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? And a whole bunch of them started talking about something that there was a class that they were going to do, an online class. And I'm like thinking, what are they talking about? Oh, we're going to do this and it's mixed media. And I'm like thinking, what in the heck is mixed media? And and so I'm like,
What
oh my
does this
gosh.
mean? What is this world you speak of, mixed
I
media?
know. And I'm like thinking, oh my gosh, this is the kind of stuff I love to do. I didn't know it had a name.
That's right. That's exactly what everybody says. So it has a name, this thing that we like to do.
And
Thank you for
basically,
informing me.
it's kind of what my scrapbook pages had started to turn into. And I
Right.
had more fun making the pages and just doing all kinds of stuff to them than almost I had putting pictures on them.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
So-
It's funny that you describe it that way because I think you're absolutely right. Most of us do some form of mixed media. We just don't know that that's what it's called.
That's right. And
Yeah,
so
we already
I
are doing
think
it.
so I just had so much fun in those groups, and it was so fun to come together with kind of a common theme to do. And that was when I kind of decided that I really wanted to do something online and, try to create some type of community like that in a different way than just scrapbooking or, whatever else. And my goodness, I've been playing it, doing stuff like that since, oh my gosh, I think something popped up in some of my pictures, and I think it was like 2009. I had been thinking it was 2010, and then something popped up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot. My daughter and I were going to do something, and we were going to try to work with people like from direct sales and try to show them how they could kind of leverage Facebook and not just do the average run of the mill, here's your business. I mean, but you know what I mean. I mean, we're so many years into that it seems funny that we would have had to tell people that. So I had a whole presentation put together. I was going to do a webinar, and when I got up that morning, I started to go through it, and Facebook had completely changed the interface on business pages. And I'm just like, I'm out. I can't do this. I wanted to set this and kind of continue to grow. I had no idea that, that would be the thing. And as we know, that has continued over and over. So, I mean, it was a good place to step out before it ever got started. Right.
Right.
So, but
how long ago was that, Kristie? How many years ago was that, do you think?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that might have been in the 2009.
Wow.
Because I think I joined Facebook, if I'm not mistaken, in 2008. And my daughter and I were going to do that together. And we're just like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, no.
And so we had a lot of people that were disappointed. And I just said, look, I said, you're going to have to work with people who are, this is all they want to do is keep up with Facebook and teach you how to do stuff like that, because that's not what I want. I have other things in life to do.
Yeah.
But, I've always loved making things, always. And so my, artful adventures was what I had called everything, because in trying to come up with what I wanted to do, I did not want to be stuck in one single box, because I just like to do too many things. And so Artful Adventures was what I came up with. And that was what my original you could have like your domain name, but you could name your blog something else. And so that was what it was. You could find me by my name, which since I forwarded it, because I didn't, I don't have anything over there that's really relevant anymore. And, so that was what I had done. And, it just, after we moved to Texas, then I was able to actually get that for a business name, Artful Adventures. And so years and years had passed, and I saw that when I first tried to get that for a domain name, somebody had they had already purchased that, and just sitting there was like one page of a website. They never did anything with it ever.
That happens
And then
sometimes.
it kind of went into limbo. And
Yep.
so, I looked it up and it said, you could offer to purchase it. So I thought, oh, this is my time. I'm going to get my domain name. And so, so I go on there and they just laughed at what I offered for it.
Oh,
And
did they
said
really?
they would not they would not consider any less than 5 figures for that domain name of Artful Adventures.
What?
And I'm like, well, good luck to you, because
Yeah.
you've had it sitting there for all these years. And,
Yeah.
and I mean, there's a lot of things. There's museums that have something, like a regular thing, and they'll call that Artful Adventures. So, I mean, Artful Adventures on its own was nothing super unique, that I found out, after the fact.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, well, what could I do? And I thought, what if I just, so, you just start playing around, like looking for your domain name.
Right.
And so I thought, well, what if I put my Artful Adventures? Well, I could get that in everything. I could fix that on YouTube. I could put it on Instagram. I could put it, anything I wanted, because nobody was doing that. And so what I always tell people is, when you say my Artful Adventures, you're talking about you, not me. Because everybody has their own Artful Adventures, right?
Oh my goodness.
So, but yeah, I mean, so that was kind of a, something in a long process. But I've always loved making stuff. As long as I can remember, I have loved making things.
So since you were a kid, since you were a child, like, were you crafty when you were a kid?
Yes. Yep.
You were. I wasn't very crafty. I don't think, it was never really presented to me as an option. I'm from a really big family and old school, like, just go keep yourself busy. There was never, my mom didn't have time. I was one of 13 kids. She didn't have time to do arts and crafts with us.
Goodness.
She was doing laundry all day long and preparing meals. Like, there was no.
Maybe that's why, is because I was 11 when my brother was born. So basically I was kind of an only child, and I had to entertain myself.
Sure.
So that might have been why, why I would come up with all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I had playmates, my house was full of people to hang out with and play with, and yeah, so that was just not something we did. My mother always threw us out the house. Like, it was like, go outside and play. So we were outside all day long, literally, especially in the summer. Yeah. We didn't do much inside at all. We had no TVs, though. There were no cell phones. We didn't have video games. I mean, I'm talking old school. We just went outside and played like kids did back then.
Well, for me, even for TV, I mean, you didn't really watch TV during the day. There were some things, maybe, cartoons, maybe on Saturdays. But yeah, it wasn't, that was just not that
wasn't a thing. Yeah. My mom, every once in a while, we'd come home for lunch, and my mom would be watching All My Children. She liked that soap opera.
Right. Yes. All those.
But it was her thing. We weren't allowed to be in the room. And that was it. That was the end of it. Same thing when my dad would watch TV. Right? We weren't allowed in the room when my dad watched TV.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yep, that was not allowed for the kids to watch it. So we had to keep ourselves busy, man.
Yep. Well,
Rusty Peterson, I love this. Rusty says, I'm going to put her, because Kristie hasn't used StreamYard before. I was so shocked, because I thought that you use StreamYard when you go live, but you use is it eCam?
Yes, eCam Live.
Yep. So anyway, this lets me put people's comments up. And here's Rusty saying, I have loved any kind of art and craft since I was little. Rusty, I love to know that about you. That's a really fun fact to know.
And I'll tell you, one of the first things I can remember making that was quite the project was when I was in probably 5th or 6th grade. I don't remember. I mean, you would think you're too big to play with dolls, but we were not.
No, not
had troll dolls were the big thing. So troll dolls, and about that same time, there were these little bitty dolls, and they looked more like little people, and they were called Pee-wee dolls. Oh. And so from those, I made clothes, and you could buy actually a pattern it was hilarious. You could buy a pattern to make your troll doll clothes, and basically they were made out of felt. Well, you can imagine there wasn't much to them, because there's not much to cover up on a troll doll.
Right.
And it was just hilarious. And so not only did I make these little clothes, but I also kind of made an entire house out of shoe boxes, that size of box. And
Oh
I
my
can remember
gosh.
making little beds for them that were out of empty margarine containers. And I
Oh
mean,
my gosh, you're so
a
crafty. I
I mean, all
love it.
kinds of stuff. I
You
had the
did.
best time playing with those things. We had so much fun. And then when I was a little bit older, I can remember we lived kind of out in the, well, back then it was more out in the country. And down the road, people would drive down there and throw out, like beer cans. And I can remember because, back then, pop did not really come
No,
in.
I know. We didn't have it either.
Well, and it was in bottles.
2-liter
So
bottles was what we got if we got one. But we'd have
yes,
it for a birthday, and that was about it.
so beer was in aluminum cans.
Yeah.
And so I had seen this thing to where they took these aluminum cans and they cut the top part off. And so you left the bottom on, you cut the top off, and then you would cut strips like well, let's say this is a can. And so you take the top off and then you cut down to about a quarter or half an inch. You cut little
Okay.
strips all the way around. And then you would take like a little pair of needle nose pliers and you would curl each of those little strands and you would
Sure.
make all this stuff. And
Yep.
so they turned into tiny little bistro chairs and tables.
That's cute.
And so I can remember doing that. So I
That's
mean,
really cute.
one of my favorite Easter baskets was my dad got me a set of watercolor pencils and a new thing of construction paper. And I don't know how old I was, but oh my gosh, I was so excited.
Thrilled, huh? Just seeing that's so sweet. It's so
So
sweet.
I've
Those were
always
simpler
loved that kind of
times.
stuff.
Simpler before we had all these electronics to keep kids busy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I probably started sewing when I was probably about 9. I don't even know how that happened. And I can remember by the time that I was probably about in junior high, I was making almost all of my clothes except like, jeans or, outerwear, things like that.
Yep.
And I was glad to spend a little bit of money or something because I did not like the things my mother dreamed up for me to wear.
Kristie, you're cracking me up.
Oh my gosh, I still can remember some of the stuff and the pictures, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's no wonder I wanted to learn to sew.
Well, do you do much sewing now? Are you, because I see you do a lot of paper crafting, but are you sewing much now?
I don't really anymore. And I tell you, when I kind of stopped sewing was when my girls decided that wearing, homemade clothes was awful.
Not cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't cool. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that was about the time I stopped doing that. And about the time that I could afford to buy something for myself. And I realized I can remember making something and spending a pretty penny on the fabric because I thought it was fabulous. I loved the fabric. And when I got the dress done, I hated it.
Oh.
And at that point, I can remember thinking, well, this would have been cheaper if I'd have gone to a store and been able to try stuff on and see if I liked it. And then, it would have ended up being cheaper. And that's kind of about the time that I quit doing, the clothing. And so, that stuff happens, right? And
yes, absolutely.
then my granddaughter, when she was in, I think it was 5th grade, and they had this project, and I think they called it a living museum, and they had to be a person of history, and then they had to dress up like this person, and they had to have this little report, and I think they had to like read the report or they had to memorize it. I don't remember. And it was so fun. So my granddaughter comes home and she's going to be Betsy Ross. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And so she needs a Betsy Ross costume. So I'm like, in the back of the pattern books, they have costumes like that.
Yep.
So I do that. And so, oh my gosh, I had to buy a brand new pair of scissors because I didn't have a pair that would even cut through fabric anymore. It had been long enough that I hadn't really done any sewing. And people had used mine. And so I had to buy a new pair of scissors. And I almost fell over when I saw how much patterns cost and how
Oh,
much, and the fabric was. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Luckily, on the clearance section, I found the best little fabric. It had tiny stripes that were red, white, and blue. And down some of the little tiny stripes, I mean, it was very small stripes. And they had little stars in the rows of stripes. And I'm like, oh, this is
perfect
perfect.
for Betsy Ross.
And it was on clearance. It didn't hardly cost me anything. And so, and then it had this cute little, bonnet that she had to have
Oh my
too.
gosh, I love
And she was just, I mean, she could not believe that she had no idea that I could, do anything like that. And so she was just ecstatic over this, costume for Betsy Ross. And I tell you, it was so hilarious because I think there were two other kids eventually that wore the same costume when they got into that age, and they chose Betsy Ross on purpose because
So they could
they
use
knew
the
there was
costume.
the Betsy Ross costume
Yep.
available.
That makes things easy. Makes your prep time very easy.
It made it easy. Yep.
Yeah, Kristie
So-
saying her granddaughter did that, and she was Mary when she did when they did her costume. She was Mary.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
Oh.
Isn't that something? And I think, I don't know if kids here do that or not. I'm anxious to see.
I see, my kids have been involved. I wasn't involved in 4-H. We didn't have it where I grew up. But here in North Dakota, my kids have been involved in 4-H since they were very young. And they do have textile arts, I think they call them, and the girls, so they do 4-H workshops in our region for kids who want to learn to sew.
Right.
And make different things. And then of course, at the end of the year, they always have the competitions where you can enter. Like we hear 4-H and we think of people entering their chicken and their pumpkin into like, this is the best pumpkin in the county and best chicken or best looking goat or whatever, the healthiest goat. I don't know. But they have this also for arts and crafts, a ton of arts and crafts.
I love going to the
yes.
state fair and going
yes.
to the buildings that are
it's
the
so
arts and crafts.
Nice to see all the things that these young kids are learning how to make. I don't think it's super common, but there are some kids out there that are still doing it, which is nice.
Well, I think I think it has a lot to do with where you live.
Yeah.
Because I think the kids who live in more, rural communities or smaller towns, it can be a big deal.
That's right. It is definitely. That's why I said I grew up in Boston. I had never even heard of 4-H until I moved out to North Dakota. I'm like, what the heck is 4-H? I don't know what that is. Yeah. So it's through my kids that I learned all this.
Yeah. Well, and I was in 4-H. We lived out, it was a small enough place out where we lived, but it was definitely a deal. And your things, especially, at least county fairs and stuff, your stuff got entered into.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but that was a lot of fun. It was
Kristie
really a lot of fun.
Kristie Abston, our sweet friend Kristie, she said, I was in 4-H. I got a blue ribbon in gift wrapping.
Cool. Oh, I remember gift wrapping. We did that too. Yes.
You're so fancy, Kristie Abston, because listen, girl, I don't know why I think that's perfect for you, because you're, she, with her job, she has to be so precise, right? With tool making.
Yes.
So I imagine her gift wrapping was stellar, like perfect, I bet.
Probably. That's why she got the blue ribbon.
Yep. Diane says, I spent my whole childhood in 4-H with, let me see, I gotta get this up here, with projects. I loved every minute of it. And she said I think earlier, didn't you say you did both arts and crafts and she got to play outside? You had a good childhood, Diane. That's good stuff. I like hearing that. I like hearing it. Kristie's giving us laugh emojis. Hi, Alex. Thanks for saying hello. I'm looking at the comments and just saying hello to folks. See if you guys have questions for Kristie, if you want to know something specific about her and her art life, her creative life, please ask in the comments. I have a bunch of questions that I have pre-prepared for Guest in the Nest, because there are some things that I think are just interesting to talk about.
I'm going to be on the hot seat. Okay.
No, these are so easy. So the first one is to tell us about you and your business, where you kind of told us about My Artful Adventures and how you got here. But right now, Kristie, do you want to tell folks, where can they find you? Like, when and where are you sharing And in what ways? Like, you do have a group. Tell everybody about what you got going on so they know where to find you if they want to come hang out with you.
I do have I have like a group that's called My Artful Adventures Clubhouse, and that's just anybody can join that. It's private though, so I mean you do have to say you have to do the magic knock on the door for me to let you in, so we don't just have stink bugs in there,
right?
And which is a thing, right?
Yes, it is. I do the same thing with my group. I have two groups. One of them is free, and that group, same thing. I ask questions. I have 2 women I have not approved because I don't know if, like, they joined Facebook 23 days ago. They have no other friends. It's like, I don't know if you're like a real person or not. But when you answer the questions, we know that a real person had to type in those answers, and we can guesstimate, okay, this is a legit crafter. She's looking for sewing and inspiration with junk journaling. Then I know you're real. So answer the questions. It helps us know who you are. That you're not just some creep trying to get in our group for some reason.
That's very true. Let's see, what did you
so where can they find you? You've got your free group.
I also have a private group, which is a paid group that is called give me a minute, I'll think of it.
You're drawing a blank. Hey, if one of her girls are here, you give her a shout out for her groups that you're in. Shout out Kristie's groups in the comments, or where are you finding Kristie, or what you love about her. If you're a regular follower of hers, please feel free to comment and let us know about your experience with Kristie.
So my paid group that we meet like once a week is called Adventurers Rendezvous. So we have a rendezvous like once a week.
I love it.
And so the other one isn't quite as regular in the clubhouse. And I wish that we had more people, interested in sharing their things over there. But, that's not what's really going on right now. So sometimes I do a free card workshop in there. I try to do, my goal is once a month. And then the last time I looked, I couldn't believe how long ago it was. And I'm like, man, I can't believe how time just speeds by.
It's so
just unbelievable. So there and on YouTube, and I usually share my things on Facebook and YouTube, although I think I'm going to start, we have so many things, our videos that are going to leave Facebook, right?
I know.
And I have those, my thing that I use, it saves to my computer at the same time that I am streaming. And so I've got all of those, and I'll be able to, load those in. Well, I really haven't decided if I want to just look at those and like just recreate the project and just load that into YouTube, or if I want to just load in the previous live. But I don't know. What do you guys, what would you like? If I was going to do that, what do you people watching think? Would you rather I just redid them and they'd be a shorter version, or just load up the previous live? I'm curious what you all think. Yes, Diane's in my Adventures Rendezvous group.
I just put it up on there. I saw that she typed it in, and I thought, perfect, Diane. Thank you for helping us. That got us up on the screen so everybody can see.
A couple of groups. I'm not real active on Instagram. And I have things. I have been doing the first Friday sale, so I've got some things there. I've got a Shopify.
That's in the Crafty Bunch.
That's in the Crafty Bunch, yeah.
Yep.
And then we're having I have an event every, like, it was just on the second Wednesday, but now I'm doing the second and fourth Wednesday that I'm holding an event over in the Crafty Bunch.
You are busy.
I think those are fun. I like to have fun themes for those.
Yes. Yeah, you do come up with really good themes. That's true.
Thank you.
You do a good job. And you are incredibly gifted at these events.
Thank you.
You're very organized and you're very good at communicating. I have to tell you, I've been in events where it's like nobody knows where they're going or what they're doing or when they're supposed to do it, what they're supposed to say. If there's an intro, what are we promoting? Nobody knows anything, but you do not leave anything to chance. And I love that about you.
Well, that's probably, and I didn't tell you this. part of a lot of my background in real work, it was in administrative work. And I several times had been like an executive assistant. And
Oh,
so, and I love making the graphics. I mean, Canva makes it so easy, but I
yep.
love doing those for everybody. I love playing around with that. I used to make newsletters for, I think it was about 3 Mary Kay directors. And so I just love doing that. But it's like another creative outlet for me.
Yes.
I love the making, the doing.
Yeah. Well, good. Good. Then it suits you well in that case. That
Yeah.
suits you really well. Lynn's Vintage Villa, it has some comments or answers to the question that you asked. Let me get them
Oh,
up.
okay.
When you asked about how should you do your videos,
Yes.
she first asked how intensive would it be to edit it if you had to pare them down. She asked that, and then she quickly followed up with, you have to do what you have time to do.
Yes, Lynn, that is a great response.
It's a good point.
And,
yes, it's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, say a little more about that, because I'm not sure. It sounds like Lynn does, but I'm not sure that everybody understands. It's a bit of work to get things.
Yes, editing. Well, and the thing about it is, I usually on my videos, I have a little picture in one of the corners of me talking. And so what happens is if you go back and you edit it out, then you really have choppy little things with that person. The talking head becomes really choppy.
Yep.
So, I mean, I could cover that completely up with my logo, but that's what a lot of people tell me is they say, I like being able to see you. However, this is what I think they see most of the time. The top of my head.
That's
so
funny.
I don't know, but you're there. They still know you're there. They know what you're doing.
Yep. Yeah.
And so I don't know. Yeah, if you weren't talking to everybody, but I tell you, I have a friend who, she forever was just, when she first started, she would do her Facebook Live, and then she would download it, and then she would upload it onto YouTube, and that was just how she did it for the longest time. And she would just tell people this was previously,
That's what
live.
I do. That's what I sometimes do too, because it just takes too much time to try to edit.
Editing is not easy. Yeah, it's kind of a job.
I think a lot of the creative business owners who do that on a regular basis have a staff to do the editing. When it's just one person who's representing the Company Nest or My Artful Adventures or whatever the business is, it's very, very difficult to do the recording, then the editing, then the posting. All three of those things take time. Right. And then really we're trying to connect with people live. So you have to be live. Like there's no other way around it. You have to be present. And usually you spend a little time getting ready for the live and then cleaning up from the live. So a 1 hour live actually takes about 1.5 hours, 1 hour and 45 minutes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's not all just what you see out on the public's view. And I'm sure some of you, when you think about it, you recognize that's true, right? Like it's not just what you see. There's more to it than that. There's more to it.
There's a lot more to it, right? There really is. But so okay, what else? What other questions have you got for me?
All right, let's see. I'm going to just check to see. Yeah, Kristie's agreeing. It all just takes so much time. It does. It takes time.
It does. And I'll be honest, a lot of people go, oh, you're so neat. No, I'm not, because what happens is I have to make time to get ready for the live and then do the live. And a lot of times that was it. And I have to jump and run. And so, like my desk could be a mess until I come back to, I have to get ready, like plan out for the next thing. Right. And, and I'll pick up stuff and just like put it over here on the side table. And it just gets to be overwhelming, the amount of stuff that is laying around. And that's one of the things. Yeah. I have a busy week this week, and I'm just like thinking next week, I think my schedule kind of thins out, and I'm glad, because I really need to get in here and get some stuff straightened out for my sanity.
I do the same. I mean, if you saw the room, and I'm almost speechless, because I go from live to live. Sometimes I'm live twice a day, And
That's
I
a good
just have
point.
enough time to move this stuff out of the way. It goes on the floor over there until I can get to
For the
it and then
next one.
start
Yeah.
the new thing. And then
Yeah.
the next thing I know, I have 4 of those piles that
Right.
was a project I started, but hasn't quite been finished. And I still have to put all the corresponding supplies that are with it away, or I have to pull them back out to finish it. I don't know. I wish I had a really big room with about 6 tables.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be
When
great?
I could leave a project alone, because
Yes.
a lot of the times when we're doing these paper projects, junk journals, they take hours and hours. It's not 1 hour live. It's 12 1 hour lives to
Right.
finish the book.
Yeah.
So I have to have it here and available to me. But where do I put it when it's not on my little 12 by 36-inch desktop? It's on the floor.
I know.
And I'm
And then,
tripping on it.
if you've got a
Yeah.
pile of stuff, then, you might be looking for something and then you're thinking, wait, I think I used that. Which project was that in? And then you got to remember which pile to go look in.
Yeah, I know. Believe me, I've been there. It's like, why can I
Yeah.
not find this? I just had it yesterday. All right, Lynn's vintage villa is Lynn Perkins. She's coming at us or to us with her new business name. Or I know it's probably not new, but she's coming here. Usually she's here visiting with us as Lynn
Fun.
Perkins. So Lynn's vintage villa. I love it that you're here that way. Thank you for being here, Lynn. You're such a good supporter. Debbie says you have to be very dedicated to it. Yeah. Plus know what you're going to be doing. It's true.
You do. Yes,
Yep.
you do. Oh, and I have a newsletter. I do a newsletter I try to get that out every week on Sunday. I call it the Sunday Summary. And I have thought about doing it like just a couple of times a week. But, sometimes one of the things I put in there is my schedule.
Yeah.
And sometimes my schedule changes so much that, it's like, well, no, I don't. I hate to not, send that out at least every, week. So I have that. So that, and, everything takes time, doesn't it?
Yep, it sure does. It sure does. I do my weekly email as well. Mainly to get the schedule. I do 2 things. I get the schedule out and then I give everybody the links to the lives or the videos that they may have missed last week.
Yeah, I do that too.
That way it's so nice to just be able to click on it and say, oh, I meant to watch that, but I forgot. And then you don't have to go look for it. I'll give you the link so that way you're not spending your time. Was she on YouTube? Was she on Facebook? Was it in a group? Was it on her page? No, it just click the link. It's right there. You can quickly get to it and fast forward or pause it if you have to and get through it that way. So yeah, I think that's a really nice service that you give people. Because I always appreciate it as someone who gets those kind of emails. I love that. It's so.
Oh, Jennifer said she's at a craft retreat.
Oh, I think. Oh, Jennifer Lynn Money. Here, let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, where, girl? I love it. Good for you, Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. Hello from Nova Scotia. Thanks for being here.
Oh, nice.
Lynn says you've solved the dilemma of editing old lives. Nope.
Yeah, you don't. But actually, yes, I have. You don't do it.
Yeah. Nope, not going there.
Yeah, no.
It's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. I tell you what.
Yikes. It really is.
It could so be,
and I just don't know that would be worth it. So I don't know.
Right.
I almost, but really, I think I would almost rather redo the project, and but for me, I would probably watch the live and see what I did wrong, and then do the project.
Yeah, right.
Because ask anyone who watches me, there's probably lots of boo-boos that happen. So that's a common theme. And I've had people tell me how much they enjoy watching me because they said I seem real because I have all the mistakes.
Yeah, you know what? I've heard that over and over. Yeah, I've heard that over and over again. That it's so. I think maybe it's a woman thing. Like we do appreciate knowing, like I'm not the only one. my room is not the only room that looks like that. Nope.
Well,
girl, we are with you 100% with that mess that we all have. Kristie Epstein said. Let's see what she says here. She's got a comment about, I had a slow week. I was able to make a small hole in my room, but last night I started planning for this week, and that small hole got even smaller. Yep. Dun, dun, dun. That's the way.
Right?
One step forward, 2 steps back. One step forward.
Yep, that's for sure. That's the way that goes.
Yeah, add another hour for prepping for a live. It's incredible. Yeah, it's just wild. The amount of time we spend.
But you just keep on keeping on.
You know, if we didn't love it, we wouldn't do it. I mean, because it's that much.
Yes.
So you have to really, really, what Debbie said is true. It's about being very dedicated to it. I'm very motivated by your mainly, you know, ladies who are here hanging out with us. Your comments are such a motivation for me. When I hear that you have taken time, you know, if you say something like, someone might say, oh, I saw that gratitude journal and I busted out my book and I put an entry in too. It makes me so happy to know that you're gifting yourself a bit of time based on something you might have seen us do. It's such an honor to have that role. And that's a big, big, big motivator for me intrinsically. Like, that's the reward I get, is to know that it's affecting you in a really positive way, and gifting yourself the time to create and be creative. Not worrying about the outcome. We're just playing in our journals or in our books or on our tables, on a canvas, whatever you want to do. I don't even care if it's an adult coloring book, just playing with colors and supplies, and just having that time away from all of our stress and worries of being moms and grandmas and wives and sisters. And yeah, it's just, it really makes me feel so good when you guys share that. So please keep sharing the comments. It means the world to us. It really is a good motivator for us to keep going. Let's see. Jamie says, what are we up to? Jamie wants to know what you're up to. What are you working on there, Miss?
I am working on now, and talk about, something that went awry. This was my first, I'll see something and I'll think, oh, that's so, I'm going to make one of those, because that's just going to be super easy. So this is that never ending journal, to where, it's made just simply by, it's an accordion style like this. I love it.
Yeah.
And so when you got to the end, you were, oh shoot, I put that in upside down. Or is the back upside down? Oh my goodness.
Is it too late to take it off? Is it very glued in?
Nope, I can do it.
I'm all about
just in the nick of time.
Take it apart and redo it. Yep.
Well, no, that can't be true. Oh yes, because this is what happened. Okay, so this is what I did. The way that I started it, I thought that was where it was, but see, like when you open this, you're actually opening this whole section.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't have been that way. I should have started the other way. Oh, and I made a little mock-up thing.
That one's a pretty good size. I like the size of that one.
I think Callie said she loved my little mock-up. It helped her understand what it was. So this was a perfect project to use single-sided paper. Okay. Because the way that you put your single-sided paper, it's all going to be, eventually covered up, right?
Covering each other up. Yep. Yep.
So this is like this fold, and you just fold it in half. It's like you could basically use like an 8.5 by 11 and fold it in half, right? Okay. So this would be the pattern on this one, pattern, and pattern. And on the other side, you would have, so this is like 8 pieces right here. But what I figured out was, your first one needs to be in the valley. The valley needs to be on the table, and then you fold this one over. So here's the next one with the valley, and then this one goes over the top. So that then as you open it up, here's your cover. And so you're going to, open it like this, and you just keep flipping through until you get to the end. And then this one, then it starts going the other way.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what did I do wrong? And so I just cut all these little snippets of paper, and I thought, well, this is, I'm going to figure this out. And so this one that I'm doing, I'm like thinking, well, I spent enough time and paper on it, and there's no reason I can't still, work on it and have it be something, even though I got part of it upside down, right?
I love the size of that one. I love it. Absolutely.
It's great. So then when I did that, I decided this would make a perfect ephemera holder, because look what you can do. You just put all your stuff in, and now you can just pull it apart and you can see all your stuff.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, that's what I'm going to say it is. It's an ephemera holder now.
I love that.
So then the other day over in Junk or Journal Pals, where Jimmy Lou sends us, a piece of fabric, this is what I started doing on this one. I cut this quilt up because it wasn't very big. And so now, you know, now I've got all of this.
Oh my gosh, I love the colors.
And so that way, now see, this was after I did my little mock-up, and I'm like, oh, now I can see where you would want your colors to coordinate.
Yep.
You know, by doing this.
Yep.
So I had to cut this one down, but it's still, I think it's still a nice size. This one still needs to have the inside part of, I took the quilt apart to make the cover. So it's still got the batting underneath. I did put a piece of chipboard on the cover. So, you know, that's a work in progress too. But yeah, you're right. I mean, none of these things happen in one sitting ever.
Nope. Never, ever,
never, ever.
Callie has a question. She wants to know, is that a 12 by 12 sheet folded in half? That big size that you got there that you're holding in your hand?
This one was, oops, hang on. Please hold. I need to cap my glue.
Please hold.
Capping your glue is important. This one is 6 by 9. And so it would have been I cut 3 inches off the bottom of a 12 by 12 and then folded the rest in half. No. Are these?
It looks tall.
Yeah, it's 6 inches. Yeah, so these were nice big pages. So I cut the bottoms off, and so then that's what I have left to make little strips of, you know, stuff to use.
Yeah.
So that works out good. And I didn't use anything. And have you guys seen my little trick for if you forgot to if you have forgotten to
it's okay. Take a minute.
Use your ink.
We're not going anywhere.
Your edges. To ink your edges. Whew, I finally got it out.
Good. Okay. Ink your edges.
Okay. If you forgot to do it, here's what you can do. It's never too late. Take a piece of paper to mask your thing off, what you don't want to get dirty. And put it on there. And now you can still ink your edges.
There you go.
And there you go. I do this more than inking them on the first time because I forget to do it. So there you go.
You've gotten really good at that.
I had to come up with something because I wanted the ink, you know, I wanted the ink on the edges. And so I came up with that, and it works great.
Well,
You
good.
know? And if I wanted to do the side, I just put my paper on this side and ink the other part. So yeah, that works super good. Now, I wonder if I can, well, that's kind of big.
Yeah, if anybody else has questions for Kristie, go ahead and throw them in the comments. We'll give them a whirl and see what she got for answers for you. Let's see. I have a bunch of questions here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, this is a good one. What craft supply? And you guys in the comments, you can answer these questions too, because it's really just fun to have these chats with women who are like-minded.
Yes.
Which craft supply do you have to replenish most often?
Oh my goodness. Probably glue.
Okay.
Yeah, glue.
Got your papers. Do you have a stash of papers?
Oh my gosh, I got so many papers, you guys. And I'll find something that I want, something new that I want. So, you know, they're always new papers are always coming into the mix. So
yep. I think
yeah,
so
I
many
wouldn't
of us
say
are this way.
Yeah,
Yep.
I wouldn't say they have to get replenished. That, and I probably like the double-sided adhesive, like the bigger ones, like
the rolls,
like this.
Yeah.
Rollers.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff.
What about everybody else? What do you replenish the most? Okay, and here's like an alternate question. What craft supply could you go 3 years without buying and you'll just be fine?
Oh man.
Like you have so much of it that you wouldn't even have to worry.
I could probably look over here and look at the ones that are sitting there that are probably that old and haven't ever been used. So I'm a craft supply hoarder. It's
so
like
is it paper? Is it paper? Is it
probably
paint?
Mediums? Probably
Mediums.
Paint mediums and things
Do you
like
find
that.
they dry out on you though, Kristie? Over time they dry.
Some of these behind me that are on the top there that are in little jars, I have them upside down. They are many years old and they
Yep.
seem fine.
Good.
But I will say to all of you, if you have a water-based product that you want to try to reconstitute, do not use tap water. Make sure that you use distilled water.
Distilled water, yeah. Yep, that's a good tip. That's a good tip. Yeah, I find that some of the mediums dry out. Like I've had crackle mediums that I've used once or twice, and then I have to throw the whole bottle out, and nothing bums me out more. So I'm a
Yeah.
fan. Like I use Liquitex. I think Liquitex products don't dry out. I've never had something from Liquitex dry out. So there's
Yeah,
one
I don't think I have
I've
either.
never had
I
anything
think
from Liquitex. And
I
I buy
think
this.
the
I have a gallon of this because I use matte medium, the matte gel medium that much, and the liquid medium. I use them that much that I keep this in gallons or in half gallons. But
yeah,
like
I
other glues, I try to buy in smaller containers because I don't, even if it's a little more money to buy the smaller container, I don't want it to dry out. Nothing kills me more than to throw out a
right.
bottle that I spent $20 on and I had to throw it out
Yeah.
because it dried out.
And my reptile glue that I use most for like a white glue, I buy it and I fill these little needle nose dispensers up.
Yep.
So they are
Very
closed.
smart.
My
Yep.
big bottle is closed most of the time, so it's not like open close
Yes.
open close. Now,
Yep.
the last time I had to get a another Fabri-Tac bottle, I did just what you said. I have a smaller bottle because I have a hard time with these.
Yep.
They seem to dry out or get super thick.
Thick.
And
Yep.
so I just bought a little one the other day and it killed me because I could see the difference in the price. And I thought,
Yep.
well, it doesn't do me any good to buy a
Right.
larger one to save money if it, if I can't use it, if it just is
Exactly.
bad.
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel about it too.
Rusty says she doesn't need any more paper either, but she
Yeah.
buys it anyway. Yes.
Yeah. So what are the things you guys really, we could go, I have a lot of paper. I have an equal amount of fabric probably.
I don't have much fabric. I used to. And then when we were in Minnesota, we had a big problem in our basement. Uh-oh.
What?
Oh, never mind. I looked over at my other place and you were talking. It's coming in. The feed is coming in at a different time.
Yeah,
and I turned the sound off. I'm like,
Yeah,
I can't hear you.
That's okay. Kelly says with mediums that you don't use often, it helps to save them to close with saran wrap.
Yes, I do that a lot. Yes.
Good tip.
Yep.
April says, sometimes I don't know what kind of glue or medium to use. April, if you say a little more, I'm sure you got plenty of gals here who will help. This is a great group question to ask.
That is, yes.
Like if you go into one of our free groups, tell them the name of your free group again.
Well, one is
the free group.
The free group is My Artful Adventures Clubhouse.
Okay, so go into the Clubhouse, April. I'm not trying to, we can absolutely talk about that here, but I'm encouraging you to use your free creative communities. That's what these are for. Right. This is a great question for a creative community to say, sometimes I don't know which glue or medium to use. For example, I'm trying to sew this fabric to this metal. What do you guys suggest? Then you have a conversation. And what's lovely about that is I bet you're going to find women who know about glue that you've never heard of that may be just what you're looking for in terms of that is what that's made for. Right. I learn a lot from other women and the things that they've incorporated into the way that they create.
Yes.
And it's like, I've never even heard of that before. I'm going to write that down and check it out. And I love having the community using each other as resources. So use the free groups. That's why we create them. So you have a community of like-minded people to ask questions, share your project photos, get encouragement or be inspired by other people. I think it's also important. She says, I'm making a junk journal cover with cardboard and papers. So let's talk about it. What glue, if you were doing cardboard and paper, what glue would you guys use? Both, and those of you who are here watching and in the comments, feel free to share with April, like if you were doing a journal with cardboard and paper, what glue would you use? And Kristie, what would you use? Do you have a go-to glue for cardboard?
I would use either the Fabri-Tac or my little reptile glue. I would imagine that this is probably somewhat similar to something like art glitter glue, I would think. But reptile
Is that
glue,
in its original bottle? Like, what is reptile glue? I've never even heard of that glue, I don't think.
it is fabulous.
I'm going to grab the glue that I use while you're grabbing yours. I buy it in a huge bottle because I use a ton of it. Hold on.
I found this out from a lady who does paper crafting. I can't even think of what her channel is on YouTube. And it's got like the little
oh, I've never even seen that
reptile.
One. Look at the reptile eye.
It was originally developed for tile work. And
Oh.
then I don't know who decided that it was great for crafts, but now this actually says premium craft adhesive, and it says ceramic, wood, plastic, rocks, shells, cloth. So, I mean, it covers.
Sounds like it'll handle anything.
Pretty much anything.
That is, I'm literally writing it down.
Yep, reptile. Just like
I will never remember this. An hour from now, I won't remember this, but I'm going to write it down because I've never heard of it.
Oh, it even has more on the top band: glass, cardboard, leather, beads, feathers. So it's great. And I did look up its spec sheet. I found its spec sheet online. I can't even remember what you call those. Actually, there's a special name for them. And every product has to have like all of its information available to the public and really specific things. Shoot, I can't remember what you call that. But anyway, it is an acid-free glue, which when you're doing paper and stuff, that's important. You don't want
acid-free.
Acid-free.
pH neutral. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I use this a lot. This pH neutral.
Yes. Yep.
By Line Co. It's bookmaking glue, right? So the cardboard would be like a paper. So this would work just fine. This spreads really beautifully. Like you can brush this on. I have it in this bottle because I use it for all my like paper elements in my junk journals. It is like art glitter glue. I don't think it's as sticky. It's a little bit more loose than art glitter glue. I like art glitter glue and I have it. I like the way this one comes out of bottles. It doesn't gop up as fast, I think, as some other glues, because I have a terrible time with those fine tips getting clogged.
Yeah. Well, did you see what I do? I take a piece of painter's tape and I stick a couple of pins right there.
Oh,
and just
smart.
tape over it. And then, it's there because it didn't come with a pin. Right. And I'm always having to do this. Now, the batch of these that I got them several years ago, and I think I got them on Amazon, and it was a pack of like 10 or 12 or something. I'm still using those. Yep. And sometimes something will happen and your tip will be just completely gucked up and you just can't do it.
Right.
Oh, Kristie says an MSDS sheet. What does that stand? Oh, material data sheet. Yes, thank you.
Kristie, you are so full of knowledge, girl.
See, I should have known you would know. Yeah, I could not think about that. And do you know, when I started to look for something about a product, I could not for the life of me remember what you called them. I finally Googled up enough stuff that I found it, though.
You got to it in a roundabout way.
And the reason I was looking for it was I had some kind of product that I was taking somewhere, and I wondered if it would be okay if I, stuck it in like my suitcase or whatever for on the plane. And so I'm like, well, it really doesn't sound like it. And so I did not take it. I bought it when I got somewhere, and come to find out there were other people who had traveled with it. And I said, and they did not care. And they go, no. Good. I'm like, well, there I am trying to be a good citizen and not bring it on, on board.
Well, now you know for your next trip that you can travel with glue.
Exactly.
Travel with glue. All right, let's see what Lisa Kidd is saying. My first one, I used Mod Podge, made it really hardcover. Then my used double-sided tape and fabric tech glue that I learned from Jimmy Lou. Yeah, it's interesting because there are many glues that you could use for that application. Someone is saying, like Lynn's saying, I would use a glue stick for cardboard and paper. I would use a glue stick. I think each one of us are going to have preferences based on what we like to work with, how easy it is to use. the way that we work. So there's no right or wrong answer really. And paper and cardboard are easy to stick together with most glues, I think. You know, fabric, you might run into a little challenge with fabric because sometimes glues leave a mark on fabric depending on what the glue is. Yeah. So especially if you have a sheer fabric that you're going to see a wet mark, right? Like it looks like it's still wet, but it's not.
Yes, and
you don't want that with fabric. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, but specifically for paper and cardboard, I think you could try to use almost anything that you have and you'll probably be okay.
I like using glue stick, but I stay away from it because I've had too many things fall apart from glue stick.
Yep. Yeah, and the only one that I've seen that I liked is the Scotch. This one. Permanent it works really well, but still, if I was doing a thicker fabric, thicker paper, cardboard, I kind of like to use a wet glue that's really going to hold. I think it has a better hold than glue sticks overall.
Right, and also same with a lot of double-sided adhesive tapes. I think a lot of times we will put that down because it's a quick stick. But I think, you really have to add some wet glue with it.
Yeah. True. That was a good question. I'm glad April asked it. You guys, if you don't belong to our free groups, go ahead and join them. I mean, we would ask you to answer the questions when you request to join. They're free to join. Lots of benefits to being in there. All we ask is that you answer the questions so that we know you're not some weird creeper trying to get in there and make friends online in a weird way.
And I've had people and I'm just like, and if I go because a lot of times I'll go and look at the profile, and if I can tell that you have nothing on a profile since last month, or, it started last month.
Yep. I don't let them in.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm sorry, no. Because I don't think you're real.
Right. So that's it. But if you had a new profile, which does happen, some people need to reset their whole Facebook.
Yes.
But you answered the questions, I would easily let you in because I know you're real. But if you don't answer the questions, it's like a double, this is questionable. And I'm not going to risk the 6,000 people in my group to let someone in who might be harassing them in there.
I love some of these things where they've stolen somebody's, they'll have their name, but it's not them, or they'll have the name and then it's a weird picture or something. But anyway, it will be just the opposite. And it'll be a picture of a man and it'll say, so-and-so changed her picture. And I'm like, that's not her. And
that's not her.
That's not this person.
April, the name of my free group is called the Crafty Chicks Club. So just type in Crafty Chicks Club and you'll find us, and everybody's welcome to join that. We just ask, we don't want to solicit in there. I don't want, Tupperware people going in there and trying to sell Tupperware. I won't allow it. I don't know. Do you do that with Kristie, with your group? Everybody who submits something in my group, the posts all have to be approved. I have it turned on that I approve everything so that people aren't. I've had some people try to share yucky things in there, or, just really inappropriate, or trying to sell. And I'm like, nope, that's not, this is about craft community. It's about.
I just recently turned on my thing to have it approved because I had somebody that kept trying to put their live videos in there. And I don't really, there's a million places you can put your videos. And that just wasn't going to be one of them. So Alex, yes, the reptile does dry clear. The reptile glue dries clear.
Alex says I have nothing on my profile. Do you mean no photo or anything? I see a photo there. I see a photo next to your.
I see a photo on yours.
I see a photo. Lynn uses the same glue stick I use. Yeah, it's a good one. I like that one.
I think that was what Kristie Ebsen was saying. She uses some kind of Scotch, and I know I hear good things about YooHoo too. The UHU.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, we all have our favorites, April. I think it's good to like take some advice from some folks that you trust. And especially if you're limited with either space or budget. Like I don't want to go out and buy every glue stick in the world to try them all.
To
So
try
just
them.
it's good to ask in these communities because you'll see a recurring theme. Like, Scotch keeps coming up or this keeps coming
Yeah.
up. And that must mean if 20 of the ladies like this, it's got to be good. It's got to be okay. That
Well,
gives you a really good starting point.
the other thing is sometimes you can find somebody who has actually gone and bought them all and done a test run like on YouTube or something. I
Yes,
saw
yeah.
somebody one time and she
Yep.
had done like all the different white pins. And so
Yep.
she came up with what she liked best, which, yeah, the idea of white pins, I enjoy the execution. And every time I want to use them, they're dried up. I
Oh,
have
really?
found, I did
White
find
gel
out
pens?
about a white, a tiny pot of white acrylic, and it's really thick, but it's like paint. It's in a little
Paint.
pot,
It's a paint
and
writer. Yep.
I think it's PH Martin's or something like that, but it's just white paint. And so, I don't have to worry about that. I can take its lid off and I know I can use it. So for making little highlights or something, I really like to use that.
I have really good luck with Uniball. Those are the gel pens that I use, and the white one is really beautiful.
That's the one I can't ever, that's the one that quits
Oh my
working all
gosh.
the time.
Where do you buy yours?
I've bought them all kinds of places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always get mine off Amazon, and I've never had trouble with them. It's interesting.
How do you store yours?
I was just looking at that.
So the tip is pointed up.
Up. Yep. Tip up because I don't want them leaking.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, but look at how many white ones I have because I like using white. I mean, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my gosh, girls, I could sell them. 7. Maybe this is the thing I don't need to buy any time in the future.
Oh, there you go. You're all set. If they work. Now, if I had those, I'd try one. It wouldn't work. I'd try the next one. It wouldn't work. I'd try another one. And I would go all the way through and not a single one of them would work.
Oh, darn it. That's no good.
But I wonder if somebody told me to store them upside down so they were ready to use. And I wonder if that's my problem.
I always store them with the thing up because I don't want them to leak.
I'll have to get another one and try it, Grace.
Give it a whirl. Try to store
I'll give it a whirl.
way.
Yes.
Kristie says she has trouble with gel pens too. Well, that's too bad. I use mine like almost daily. So.
Oh, well, see, that's my problem. I don't. And that's probably why I have such trouble with them.
Maybe because they're sitting for so long without being used. So if that happens and it's a ball, if it's a ball pen, with a little ball in the tip to release the ink, just wet the ball tip, I always have a paper towel on my desk, wet it, and then run your ball tip on there a bunch of times to re-wet the ball. You know what I'm saying?
I've done all kinds of
You've
stuff.
done that and you still can't get it.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to give some tips, but
I know that's a good plan.
Yeah.
Callie says all hers are upside down.
And do they work? I have about a dozen white pens because they are finicky.
April says she has problems with them too.
Interesting. All right, whoever the pen manufacturers are, if you're out there listening, solve the pen problem.
Exactly.
We need our pens to work. They're not cheap either. I mean,
no, they're not.
They're not cheap. Gel pens are not cheap.
Kelly says, but she never throws them away. Yeah, I know, me either.
I do. I've been getting to the point where, because I know I use mine a lot. And the nice thing about these is they do show how much ink you have in them.
Yeah. Kristie, I've put them in cups of hot water and tried to loosen the stuff, and I still have problems with them.
That's
so yeah, they just don't like me.
They're just, maybe. Have you tried white marker, like paint pens with a fine tip? Those work really great too.
What I did was I decided to try not the ballpoint one, like the Uniball one, but just a gel pen. And I had better luck with that. It didn't seem to do that. I don't know why. I just don't know.
Like the Posca pen.
Yes. Yes, the pen.
Yeah.
Yeah, those aren't cheap, but yeah, those are great.
I've over time, I've slowly built up. I use a lot of neutral colors like white, black,
Right.
brown. So
Yeah.
personally, I go for those first. And then over time, I've added a few other colors, but I don't
Right.
use the colors as often as I use
Yeah.
just the neutrals.
Any
Okay.
other questions?
All right, let's see. Does anybody out there have questions? I wonder if you heat them up on the point, if it would clear out on the end. Kristie's like trying to solve our problem. Kristie, you will win an award from everybody if you solve the
Right.
problem. I've seen them at Michael's and they are sideways on the store shelf at Michael's. Oh, Lisa, good point.
Yep, I've tried
Or
that
them
too.
flat. Kristie's like, you can't find a way that I haven't tried. It just doesn't
After
work.
this many years, I have tried storing those white Uniball pins every direction. I've tried everything to get them started again. It's just like, oh, and you know how I get them started? Oh, I do have a way. I buy a new one.
You buy a new one. Yeah, that works. That works.
That's what.
The companies are really happy with you. Here comes Kristie again for another white
Yep.
pen.
Yep.
Girl.
Yeah, our plan is working. Here she is again.
Our plan is working. Drats, they got me. All right. Does anybody have any other questions? We've been on for about an hour and 15 minutes. And we don't want to eat up all of Kristie's time, but it's been so good to get to know you and just to hang out. One of the questions that I have, I have some questions if we need talking points. One of them is, do you prefer to create alone or in a group setting? Which gets to what I was just saying. Like, I love to create alongside other people. It's so nice.
Well, here's what happens with me.
What do you think?
I'm sure that all of you are going to be totally shocked by my answer. But when I go somewhere, like when I go off to, we have a group of friends, and it's pretty much the same people. Every once in a while, somebody can't come. I mean, within the same people, it's kind of a different bunch each time because, invariably somebody can't come, and, this time they can't come and somebody else can come. But, the same core group that's who it always is. And I will go, and they always laugh, telling me they can't believe what little I ever get done. And because I just sit and talk, I'm there to socialize. So I'm probably way better off creating on my own because then I'm not, blabbing with everybody.
The question wasn't, but the question was, do you prefer? It's not, where are you most productive? That wasn't the issue.
Well, if I have to actually do it, probably by myself, because then I get it done.
You're making me cry laugh. That is a very good point, but that was not the question. Yeah. I have so much fun creating with other people, but I hardly get anything done either because I enjoy the company too much. Yeah. When I've gone to, all right, so quilting retreats are a little bit different. At least my experience. When I went to quilting retreats, there's some socializing, but those women are serious. Done. They're
serious.
They are serious. But scrapbooking retreats, on the other hand, when I've gone to them, they have been so much fun. Like lots, and even the scrapbook retreat that I went to every year was the same one I went to every year. Was at a Bible camp location in North Dakota, and a group of my friends would go, and we'd always see the same people there. So it was really fun because we'd only see them at the camp. And we would stay in the dorms. So we're like on bunk beds in a big, huge room, just so fun, like going back to being 12 again. But we would, throughout the day, they would have workshops, like other people would run, like teaching how to do pop-up pages or just something different that you may not have done before that you could sign up for if you wanted to.
No, that's
fun. They had chair massages, so you could get an appointment with a chair massage lady if you wanted to, so there was a lot of relax time, it was everybody brought snacks to share. So the next thing you know, someone's saying, oh, these are my famous brownies, who wants one? And they're walking around sharing brownies. So you almost got nothing done, but it was so fun.
Well, fun. And I will say, one thing that I love about creating with other people is it gives you a chance to see what they're doing in person. You actually get to see it. And I tell you, that is just so worth it to get to, see other people's stuff. I love seeing, what they've gotten done, and maybe they're, they just have a different way of doing it. Like one of this particular retreat I'm talking about, one of the gals, I mean, her setup that she will bring to get so many scrapbook pages done. Well, two of them are like that. And I just look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys have done so much planning to do this. And
Yep.
I mean, it's just amazing to me how, the prep work that went
Yeah.
into it to get all these things done. I have to tell you this real quick. Okay, here's another retreat story. So my oldest daughter and I, she and I both had done scrapbooking, and so we had been invited to go to a scrapbook retreat, and it was somebody that she knew from I can't remember how she found this lady through girls. It seemed like it was, by way of her daughter being in Girl Scouts or something. The
Okay.
lady was a creative memories person,
Okay.
and so it was at a church camp. And oh my gosh, it was winter. And I can remember just begging her for us to wait until in the morning to leave because it's just like snowing. You can't even see.
I
We
hate
are
that.
out in the
No.
middle of nowhere in
I do not like
Minnesota.
that at all.
And it was like one of the first times we went anywhere using a GPS. She's driving. She can't hardly see, very far. And I'm going, okay, we're going to make a gentle, this is going to curve left. The road's going to curve right. And I mean, it was just, we're just retarded, because she's got to get there. And I'm like, and me, I'm no better because I've gotten in the car with her,
Right. You're
But,
entitled.
you live up there, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
So we get there, and I had purchased years ago, Creative Memories had a software. And so I thought, I'm going to do that. Okay, well, that was back when Archivers was still in business. And we had a new grandbaby, and she was just a few months old. And I was at Archivers, and they had this kit that was for a baby girl. I buy the kit. It's got like everything you need for your little, for your scrapbook.
Okay.
And it has all of these embellishments and everything. Well, Kathy and I had no idea how you used embellishments on scrapbooking. We had come from the days of Creative Memories of triangles and stickers and
Yes.
squares. And so we don't know, like,
That's a whole other world.
What is this embellishment thing? And it had colored pictures. It had pages of colored pictures of how to put this together. I mean, it had ribbons, embellishments, all the papers, everything. And step by step, it took you through making your book. So we start doing that. We make the book. We get, by the time we get partway through, we're like, oh, I get it now. So then we're kind of on our own, and we're kind of doing our own thing with it. And part of my goal that weekend had been to install the Creative Memory software on my computer, which I did. I got that done. I even bought something from the lady that was nice. Like a little, I think it was a set of stuff like for boys scrapbook. And so I'm like, okay, we're all set. Well, we got disinvited to this to ever go again. And yeah. We get this email. I mean, it was not a nice email about, when we come, she has spent all this time like hauling all her, her scrapbook crap that she wants to sell. Pardon my French. And, and she needs people to be invested in Creative Memories. And that's what she wants you to use while she's there and everything. And Kathy and I, we both read the email and we're like, can you believe we just got disinvited to scrapbook?
Well, no, I shouldn't say that. We almost got disinvited. I'll tell you, but that is a crack up.
So then so then we're out. We're like, okay, we're not retreat material anymore. So she finds another gal. Oh, this other person was like from church. This person is through Girl Scouts. And so she wants us to come, and it's at a totally different church camp down the other way in Minnesota. And so she invites us, and Kathy kindly declines. And she says, I thought you guys liked to scrapbook. And she goes, we do, but we don't really use Creative Memories. And she keeps going, I don't care. Come anyway. It'll be fun.
Now, okay.
And she just kept saying that. And Kathy goes, no, you don't understand. We're probably not going to use Creative Memories. And she goes, I don't care. And then so Kathy tells her what happens. And she's just laughing, and she goes, I can't believe that. And she goes, no. She goes, I have rented this space out. And she goes, I need to fill it with bodies. She goes, I don't care what you work on. She goes, you
totally
don't even have
different person.
scrapbook. She goes, you don't have to do anything. Come and
Oh my,
take the weekend and just, chit chat. She goes, I
a
don't
totally
care.
different person with a different perspective.
And
Yeah.
we went down there several times, but then everybody, we still laugh about,
That
being
is hilarious
uninvited
that
to the
you just got,
scrapbook retreat.
well, you got
Well,
adopted by a new rep, so that was good, right?
yeah, she was real sweet. We enjoyed her a lot. So well, and then come to find out she wasn't real big on rules, because even though she was a creative memories person, she didn't believe in buying all of those pages and stuff that
Yeah.
they sell. She was putting hers in 3-ring binders with sheet protectors. And so she's like the talk of, because they were based up there in St. Cloud. And so
Oh, oh yes.
she is the talk of
Right.
the company, because she doesn't toe the party line on buying.
She didn't buy into the
And so she said
thing.
she would tell that story, and she goes, that story had gone around so much that then people would find out and they would go, that was you?
Oh my gosh, that was you. You were the one.
Well, let's hear your story. Let's hear your scrapbook.
Well,
story.
I did stop going to scrapbooking retreat. I just couldn't do it with the kids and work and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But when we would go, you would bring your own. Meals were provided. You would go through the cafeteria and eat meals. So meals were provided, but in between snacks, everybody brought snacks to share. So it'd be like, oh my gosh, I've never had this kind of Chex Mix. What do you put in it? And we'd share recipes. It was just so much fun.
Right.
Oh, I had never heard of what is the puff corn that you put caramel all over it?
Caramel
Puff
corn?
Caramel corn. I'm like, what the hell is this? I grew up in Massachusetts. I'd never seen it before. I was like, this stuff is the bomb. You made this yourself? I mean, the snacks are like a highlight for us. Anyway,
Right.
But we would also go, because we're all coffee drinkers, we would also go with a bottle of Kahlua so that we could put a little Kahlua in our coffee.
Yeah.
Well, we did that the same year that my girlfriend decided she would bring. Have you ever seen people who have YouTube channels? Now, we were doing this before YouTube channels were a thing, but YouTube channels who have mascots, and they bring the mascot everywhere they go and they take pictures with the mascot. Have you ever seen them? Yeah. So like their mascot, for me, it might be a chicken, because I'm the Comfy Nest with Grace. So my mascot might be a chicken, right? And so everywhere I go, I'd have this little puffy chicken or rubber chicken, and I would take pictures with the chicken. And it's kind of like a marketing thing.
Right.
Well, we had a troll, and it was a UND troll, because the University of North Dakota. And this troll, we had we'd be half juiced up on Kahlua by 11 a.m. And this one year, this troll just got out of control. He was like sneaking into places at the Bible camp where he shouldn't be. And we were snapping photos. We were just having the most innocent, mischievous fun. But we got a letter saying no more alcohol is allowed at the retreat. Because we're putting the troll in people's bunk beds, and they would come in at night and they'd be like, what's in my bed? And it would be the troll, it was silly stuff. It was nothing.
Right.
We weren't doing anything
really
naughty, but somebody was a rule follower and said, no more Kahlua. I think that's about when I stopped going, actually.
Well, so the first one that we got uninvited to, oh my gosh, there was such a big deal about, no alcohol, no alcohol. I mean, and it just made it not fun, even though we weren't bringing any. It just like, oh my gosh, enough with the no alcohol.
Yeah, it's just, we're trying to have an Irish coffee creamer here. It's not like we're like selling it out the back to the teenagers in town. I mean, what did we do wrong? We're all grown women. Nobody was driving anywhere. We were there for the whole weekend.
Right, you're just there for the whole weekend, right?
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about it. You're walking from the room that has all of our tables set up to the rooms where we would sleep or the room where you would eat.
Right.
It was all within one campus or one spot. So it was completely safe, completely innocent, but someone there didn't like it. So we got the little letter that there was no more of those shenanigans. Yeah, I was like, you took all the fun out of it.
Oh
we even one year we all bought, if I can find the picture, I would love to find the picture and show it to you. It pops up on my Facebook memories every once in a while, but we all bought those night shirts.
Oh my gosh. So one time, so at the second camp, it was great. I tell you what, it was the most wonderful facility. And then they built a new, I don't know, I'll just call it a lodge. They built a new one, And well, one thing about that, they had like a cafeteria thing. And so, and this place was big enough that they had different groups
There at
come
the same time.
for the weekend or whatever. And so your group would be assigned a time to eat. And so
Oh,
you would
sure.
go and you would go line, you'd go through the line and
That's what
get
we
your
did.
food.
Yep.
So we
Yep.
didn't even have to cook at that one.
That was
And
ours.
so
It was
then
awesome.
at that point we had a room where we went. Oh, and I think we created, there was a room under where the cafeteria was, a lower level, and then our little lodge thing was separate, and so we had to walk. Well, then later on they built a new one, and so our room was in the same place where our sleeping was. I mean, there was like a long hallway and a whole bunch of rooms down there, and the bathrooms were there, so we didn't even have to leave that until we
Yeah.
went over to go eat. And so so we decided that my middle daughter, she needed a break, she needed some quality girl time, and so we basically kidnapped her and took her with us.
I love it.
And she didn't want to do any kind of crafting or anything, and we kept telling her, you're gonna love it, it's so beautiful down there, and you're just gonna love it, and you can be outdoors, and you don't have to worry about your kid, and you're just gonna love it.
Yep,
And
yep.
so again, no smoking or drinking, and so she knew this was going to be a problem. So she'd go hide, because she's a smoker, and so she'd go hide out the back door from our room and she would smoke. Well, then pretty soon I am like, oh my gosh, why does our room just reek like cigarettes? And I'm going, I told you you can't be smoking in here. Where in the world you smoking? She goes, I didn't. She goes, I hid in the back outside the door and smoked. And she goes, and then I didn't want to do anything with the cigarette butts, so they're in there in the trash can. I'm like,
that's what it is. That's what it is.
I'm going, okay, well, that's still not a good plan.
That's not very sneaky. That's not very, you're not very good at this sneaky bit.
Right.
Everybody
Oh
can
my
tell you.
gosh. Yeah.
The one year we all bought the same night shirts. They're like these long white shirts, and on the front and the back, it would be like a cowgirl, like Daisy Duke shorts, and like a halter top, red bandana, boob holder, right? With this nice slim waist. Like that's none of us really, but we all had on these different bikini / like hot girl outfits. One girl was the Las Vegas showgirl, so she had like the bling bling all over her. There were like 12 of us, and we all bought different ones and wore them one night to bed. So we all had matching little, alternative personas for the night at our girls' scrapbooking retreat. But just innocent fun, just like literally, just girls. We need this every once in a while. You need it in your life, and we may have to be able to personally.
I would highly recommend if you can find anywhere that if you know anybody that's going to have a retreat or anything, I would highly recommend. Now, the ones that I have been to, now, I mean, we all know that some of these retreats can get super expensive, but you can find, I'm telling you, you can find people that are having retreats that are not, costing you an arm and a leg.
Yes.
So, those, try and ask around, or, ask people if they know anybody. If you're still lucky enough to maybe have an arts and crafts or scrapbook store or something, near, or maybe even a quilting one. Ask if they know, a place that has them, and see if you can't, find out how to make some friends there and go.
It can be such a nice break from like our regular responsibilities, and it's not very often that you get to do that. So I'm a big advocate of it too.
Me too. Yeah.
And in the meantime, honestly, I do really think of our free groups that way. This should be the place to get your gathering, share photos, like get to know people, make friends in there, and feel free to be, to support, make it your community. Like any of these free groups, I know that's why we create them, to give you a place to land.
I agree.
Where nobody's going to be bugging you or criticizing you for what you're sharing or asking. It's just a safe place with like-minded people. So go find a free group. If it's not mine and it's not Kristie's, somebody's, go find a free group that you might like joining. Hang out in it. I mean, I think something that I think is a challenge, there are so many free groups out there that you can join all of them and then you're not in any of them, right? That doesn't help us.
Yes.
Pick one or two, whether it be, and they're very specific. Some of them are art journaling, some of them are scrapbooking, some of them are just general. Some of them are for quilting, some of them are for quilling. I mean, there are groups for everything, but find the ones that you think you like, that have your vibe. Then when you go onto Facebook or any social media, say it's Facebook, visit that group every day. Just go into the group and see what new comments, what new questions, what new things are being shared. And if it's not your vibe, leave that group and join a new group. But find one that you can go and hang out in, and let that be like your clubhouse, like the place where you go to see your girlfriends and connect with them in between all of your responsibilities, between everything that you have to get done during the day. This is your little retreat where you can go and be silly and have fun and share your morning coffee photo, your mug, or I just want it to be such a place of relaxation for you guys. And I encourage you, if you're in our groups, go there and share something right now. Go share something a little personal. Maybe it's you and your pet. It doesn't all have to be about crafting. It's about you connecting with other women out there who are looking to make connections with other really sweet ladies. So
yeah, I totally agree.
Make it your own.
Totally
I
agree.
knew that you would, Kristie, because I know you have the same kind of mindset when it comes to this. Diane says she's packing. Let me know when to meet you. I have a dream of I would love to do a retreat. I would love to do a retreat. And I really, really want to do a cruise retreat, like a cruise.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun? Yeah.
Wouldn't it be fun to cruise?
Yeah.
And craft while you're on ship, like for ocean days. And then when you're off ship for like port days, you go out to the port and you all explore together. I think it would be
that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it would be a lot of fun. Kristie says, I want to do a retreat with you guys. Let's plan it, kids. Let's talk about it. Let's do it. I'm in. I'm going to be an empty nester in the fall, so I'm going to have more time on my hands, girls, for sure.
Do you know that so fun. You and Kristie and me, we all have a senior this year graduating.
Oh, it's a big deal. Kristie, I didn't know that you had a senior. I knew that Kristie Abston did, but I didn't know you did. I didn't remember that.
Yep, my granddaughter, she's going to be graduating.
Oh my gosh, it's a big deal. It's so exciting for the kids, and it's so like bittersweet for the adults, right? It's like, how did this happen that they're already seniors? How did that happen?
I know, right?
It's wild.
So true.
So wild. Well, God bless you, darling. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It was fun.
Debbie says 1 vote for a cruise. I love it. I love it. I love it. Stay tuned. I'm really serious about this. I actually made contact with a woman who does group cruises, and I'm waiting to hear back from her on answers to some questions. I am really serious about this. I would love to do it. So stay tuned.
That'd be fun. Okay.
I want a cruise. Oh, Vicky says, I want the cruise. My husband can't handle the water. I'll have to go with friends. I'm the same way. My husband doesn't want to cruise. So girls, we might have to be cruising buddies. We might have to be cruising buddies. All right, girls, go have a beautiful, blessed day. Make something pretty that brings your heart joy. Please, I'm going to drop Kristie's Facebook page link in the comments. Everybody, now that we're finishing up, go on over there. Please follow and like her page. And maybe comment on something over there just to help her out. It really does help us when you become part of the community, right? Not just a silent watcher. We love to get to know you.
That's true. That's true.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I have enjoyed this. It's been a lot of fun. And thank you all for being here with us.
Yes. All right, ladies. Have a good one.